Are you under the assumption that your house and car are assets? Think again. In this eye-opening video, we challenge the conventional wisdom surrounding home and car ownership. Contrary to popular belief, these possessions may not be the financial assets you've been led to believe. Join us as we delve into the true meaning of assets, debunking myths and shedding light on the often overlooked nuances of personal finance. By the end of this discussion, you will gain a fresh perspective on how to distinguish between assets and liabilities, empowering you to make informed decisions that shape your financial future. So stay tuned. Welcome back to the Next Level Life Hacks, where we take the next steps needed to grow towards our financial success and freedom. Now, many of us have been taught to believe that owning a house and car are key milestones of financial success. But are they really assets? Let's break it down. Traditionally, assets are items that put money in your pocket. They generate an income and appreciate over time. Now, examples of true financial assets include stocks, bonds, rental properties, and business investments. These assets have the power to grow your wealth over time and become passive income streams. Now, let's apply this definition to your house and to your car. And spoiler alert, that these ideas are unconventional to some persons. Some persons might take exception, but let's look at the facts. You can make an assessment for yourself, but allow yourself to listen to different areas of advice. Now, the first one that we'll be looking at is the house. And let's be clear, we are referring to houses that are your residential properties. Not those that you have as a secondary house or car, but those that you are currently utilizing and using in your personal life. Now, the house is often considered an asset. Why? Because it has value and can appreciate over time. However, it is essential to recognize that a house comes with significant expenses. These expenses include mortgage payments, property taxes, insurance, and maintenance costs. Now, the reality is that your house is actually an asset to the bank. It is on their financial statement as an asset because it is generating an income to them and an income at a profit, and that profit would be the interest rate that you are paying. Now, let's look at a mortgage payment because we're going to delve into the calculations for me to further highlight to you and bring the point across more that these are not assets in the true sense of the definition. So we are going to be calculating the mortgage on a property to see the expense that you are liable for. Now, let's take, for example, the median price of a property in the United States, and this would be approximately $384,000. Median meaning the middle price between high and low of property prices in the United States. All right. Now, we're going to be utilizing a mortgage calculator, and these can be found readily on Google. So we're going to be putting in the median price of the property, which is $384,000. We're going to also be looking at a 10% deposit or down payment on the property, which is average down payment amounts in the United States. And we're going to be looking at a 30-year term. We are going to also be using the average interest rate of 7.5%. Now look at the calculation. For a loan amount of $345,000, because you had the down payment of that 10%, the total interest paid on that loan would be $524,000, making the total cost of this loan approximately $869,000. Let's delve into another market, because I do know that I have some Jamaican viewers here as well. we are going to be looking at some averages as well and plugging it right back into a mortgage calculator as well. Now, the average price of a property in the Kingston and St. Andrew area is $30 million, while in the St. Catherine area, it's approximately $20 million. You do have some offerings of like Gore Development that have reduced the cost of properties. However, we are still going to be looking at the average price. So if we were to use a deposit amount of 5%, overseas persons who are investing in a property in Jamaica might be expected to do a 10% deposit, but we are going to be using the 5% deposit, which is the local expectation. We are going to be using the mortgage calculator from the Jamaica National Bank, which is known as Jane Bank. And I know some of my Jamaican viewers are going to be saying, wow, places that we're familiar with. However, in looking at this mortgage calculator, let's do the math as well. Now, we are going to be using the average price to be the $20 million, with the deposit of 5% being $1 million, and we're going to be looking at a 25 term. Now, I am going to be expecting that persons are going to be roughly 40 years old when they make this critical and important decision to purchase a property. And then we are going to be looking at what the calculation results at. Now, from my calculations, you will see that for a house price of $20 million, the loan amount being $19 million because we had done that $1 million down payment, the total mortgage payments would be approximately $45 million with an interest payment of approximately $25 million. Now remember, my viewers, that we are just looking at the mortgage payments. We are not looking at routine maintenance costs that might arise, like painting, landscaping, pest control treatments, just to give a few. We are not also looking at the cost of insurance, and this might be tied into your mortgage payments. However, there are some persons that might have to pay the insurance separately from the mortgage payment. You're also not looking at repairs, especially if they fall below the deductible amount of your insurance. You could be carrying a bill for repairs towards your property. Now, for my Jamaican viewers, you're living in the tropical island, so therefore you do have the expectations of hurricanes, while in the United States you have threats of tornadoes or hurricanes just as well that might result in damages that fall below the deductible rate. We have also not factored in utilities that you will pay over the term of this loan. Now let's look at something else. Now, the misconception of several persons is that they are looking at the purchasing price of the property when assessing the value of the property. So say, for example, you purchased the property for $300,000. You have not factored in the loan payments that resulted in, after the term of the loan, amounting to over $800,000 in expenses. Therefore, if you sold the house for $500,000 at the end of the period, you are telling yourself that you have made a $200,000 profit on this property. This could not be further from the truth, especially considering the other expenses you made on the property. Take into account other factors as well. At the end of your loan payments, what will the value of your property be like? What will be the economic climate of wherever your property is located? Let's drill down a little bit further. What will even be the value of the neighborhood that your property is located in? You cannot determine the neighbors that you will have throughout the decades of your residence at your property. Would the value have appreciated or would it have depreciated? What will the level of crime be in the surrounding areas where your property is located? These are several factors that will affect or have an impact on the value of your property after you have purchased it. So therefore, you could be facing even further depreciation in your property, which will not allow you to realize the cost at which you had paid for it, and especially as you are not factoring the cost of ownership of that property, which would include the mortgage payments and other expenses that you have had to make on this property. Now, I'm not going to only be giving you the problems of this situation. I do not like to emphasize on problems without looking at the solution as well, because I am solutions oriented. So let's look at some solutions that we could have to turn this property into an asset and not just one that is bleeding you of funds. The first recommendation that I would have is to rent out a portion of your property. Now, if you have extra space in your house, considering renting it out to tenants, whether it be on a short or long-term basis, so that you can generate some income to offset the mortgage payments that you have. There are platforms such as Airbnb, Vrbo, or Craigslist that can help you find short or long-term tenants for your property. A next recommendation could be to create a home office or studio within your property. This would offset the cost of the property because then you are using it for an income generating tool as well by operating a studio or home office from the property. Another idea could be to start a home-based business. This could include offering services like tutoring, consulting, freelance, writing, graphic designing, or e-commerce with a home base. Running a home-based business can provide flexibility and additional income opportunities. The next idea is to invest in home improvements. Now, renovating your home, yes, I know you're going to say that this is an additional expense, but let's look at the reasoning behind it. Renovating your home can increase its value and potentially generate a higher resale price in the future. Now, focus on improvements that have a high return on investment, such as kitchens or bathrooms upgrades, landscaping, or energy efficient upgrades, or additional living spaces. Another idea to turn your house into a true asset would be to host events or workshops. Now, utilize your home space to host events, workshops, or classes. This could include cooking classes, yoga sessions, art workshops, or small gatherings. Charging a fee for attendance can generate additional income while also providing value for your community. The next one could be to monetize your outdoor space. If you have invested time and money into creating a beautiful garden, immaculately landscaped, then you could be considering monetizing this by hosting events like weddings or receptions or outdoor fitness classes. You could also rent out space for gardening plots or install amenities like a hot tub or swimming pool for rental purposes. Now, the other things that you could offer short-term rentals for special events. If your home is located in a desirable area or near to event venues, consider renting it for short-term stays during special events like concerts or sports games or festivals. This can be a lucrative option, especially if hotels in your area are fully booked for these events. Now, bear in mind, before implementing any of these ideas, it is essential to research your location's regulations, obtain any necessary permits or licenses, and consider the potential risks and liabilities that might be involved. Additionally, consulting with a financial advisor or real estate professional can provide valuable guidance tailored to your specific situation and goals. Now, the next so-called asset that we're going to be moving to are cars. And by cars, I'm going to be including all personal vehicles such as cars, SUVs, RVs, and pickup trucks. Now, similarly, your car may have value, but it is a depreciating asset. From the moment you drive it off the lot, this car depreciates in value significantly. Let's look at the depreciation curve of a motor vehicle. Now, you will see that for new vehicles specifically, there is a significant decline in the value in the first 1 to 2 years after purchase. Another factor is that persons do not take into account ongoing costs for the vehicle like fuel, insurance, maintenance, and especially depreciation. Now, you will realize that the most significant factor to beat in terms of vehicle ownership is the factor of depreciation. And depreciation happens rapidly at a consistent rate where vehicles are concerned in most cases. But as usual, we are going to be looking at some solutions to beat this. Now, when looking at new vehicles, most new vehicles have a 20% drop in value in the very first year. Therefore, it is advisable that you shop around for vehicles that are 1 to 2 years old so you can avoid owning this 20% depreciation. Since depreciation is a major factor in you losing income or to be spending on a vehicle, indirectly or directly, let's look at some of the ways that you can beat depreciation in a vehicle. The first thing is to maintain your car. Keeping records of regular maintenance schedules shows responsible car ownership, which helps the value of the vehicle to be maintained. The other area is to sell the car yourself. Convenience is a benefit of trading in your car at the dealership. However, a private sale allows you to sell at market value and to keep more of that money for yourself. As someone that used to work at a car dealership, I know that vehicles are significantly marked down when used as a trade-in towards the purchase of a newer vehicle. Therefore, try as best as possible to sell the vehicle on your own private market and you will make a higher return on the sale of your vehicle. The next strategy is not to customize your car. And some persons might think, say, hey, in customizing my car, I might be able to have it looking better. But hear what? You have customized that car for your taste and your benefit and your lifestyle. It is no guarantee that you will find a perfect buyer with your taste and your desire and your expectation for what a vehicle should feel and look like. You are therefore limiting the market that you are able to sell your vehicle to when it is time to sell. So try as best as possible not to customize or do customizations that can be taken off and fitted to another vehicle that you will be purchasing. Another strategy is to look for tax breaks. If you use your vehicle in your business or a side gig, then check with your tax advisor about the possibility of deducting a portion of the car's depreciation towards that side hustle. I personally use my vehicle in my business as well, and I am able to write off some of that expense of my vehicle towards my business. So that's another strategy that you could use to get an indirect income from your vehicle. Now, of course, I'm going to be looking at some calculations to drive the point home even more to have you realize how much you actually spend on your motor vehicle just from the car loan only. Now, let's look at the US market. We are going to be looking at some average figures just to do our calculations. Now, remember as well that the interest rate in the United States will be heavily dependent on your credit score. Of course, we know that not everyone is going to have a super prime credit score, and it's not going to be as bad as a deep subprime. So we're going to be looking at the median one, which is a non-prime, which is a credit rating of 601 to 660. We're also going to be looking from the Kelley Blue Book site what the average cost of a new car is in the United States. So let's take a look at the calculations. In looking at the average price of a new vehicle in the United States, we're looking at approximately $44,000. We're going to be looking at a down payment of say $500 because hey, we don't have a lot to put as a down payment on a vehicle. And we're going to be looking at a loan term of 60 months. If you're lucky, you might get it for 72 months, but with this credit score, more than likely you will get a 60-month term. We are going to be looking at the average interest rate for the median credit score, and that was 9.6%. So we now have a monthly payment of $916. Now, if we should look at $916 over a 60-month period, let's look at what that calculation would be. Now, at the end of this 60-month period, you would have paid approximately $54,000 in loan payments. This does not factor in car maintenance and repairs, insurance cost, and fuel cost. Now, at the rapid rate of depreciation at the end of 60 months, there is no way that you would at least be getting that $54,000 back. How can this be an asset? Our last step is going to be giving you recommendations as to how to convert your motor car into a true asset and not just have it being spent on. The first recommendation is doing rideshare with your car. Sign up as a driver for ride sharing on platforms such as Uber or Lyft or any local equivalent that you might have where you reside. You can earn money by providing transportation to passengers during your spare time or in between your other side hustle jobs. Another option would be to do delivery services. Work as a delivery driver for companies such as Uber Eats, Grubhub, or Amazon Flex. You can deliver food or packages and gather an income towards your vehicle expenses. Another one could be car advertising, and there are certain platforms that will allow you to place whether wrapping your vehicle or stickers on the side of your vehicle to advertise businesses, and I am going to be placing them on the screen or in the description box regarding those persons that will offer those services. Another option could be car rental services. Now, if you have a second car or you don't have the need for your car every day, then you could rent it out on peer-to-peer platforms such as Turo, or you could put it on Uber rental or Lyft rental, and I have done a previous video that walks through that process of doing that as well. Another one could be doing deliveries for local businesses. Partner with local businesses in your area to do short deliveries such as florists, bakeries, or catering companies that will periodically need items delivered to their customers. Another idea could be transportation for special events. If you have a very nice motor vehicle, then you could offer transportation to special events such as weddings or funerals, or you could offer transportation for VIPs to special events or from the airport or in between their stays at Airbnbs and hotels. Another idea could be car photography and videography, and this is especially again if you have a very nice luxury vehicle, then you could offer it for rental for photo shoots or music videos. The other one could be mobile services. Start a mobile business that operates a mobile car wash service, for example, that you could be using the vehicle in your spare time to generate income. And the last one could be carpooling or car sharing. Now, I did this while I worked in the same vicinity as my friend, and we traveled a distance that we did sharing of the journey. So 1 week I drove, the other week she drove, so we could cut costs in terms of the expenses such as fuel. Now, this must be done with co-workers, neighbors, or friends that you are comfortable with, because of course you're sharing your personal space and your vehicle with someone else. And this significantly cut the expenses on fuel, insurance, and so on, even the wear and tear on your vehicle. Now, of course, disclaimer, before pursuing any of these ideas, be sure to research the legal implications of doing these ventures, as well as any potential wear and tear on your vehicle. You also have to consider the impact on your personal time, your schedule, and preferences, so make sure it is something that is the best fit for your lifestyle and for your current situation. Now, in wrapping up, if it is that we are saying that your house and your car are not assets, then what are they? They are liabilities in the true definition of the financial term. Now, bear in mind that we are in no way saying that you should not purchase a house or a car, but bear in mind that in true financial terms and definitions, they are not an asset if it is that you are keeping them for only your personal use, because by the definition of the term, you are spending on them and they are not generating an income. Therefore, it is important that we get the right financial literacy and education to know what terms are, and therefore we can make the correct financial decisions to grow ourselves to the desired wealth level. Now, as usual, if you have found any part of this content to be beneficial to you, please like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the notification button so that you will be advised of more content that is posted on this channel so that we can grow towards our financial wealth and success. Walk good.